right. Welcome to today's edition. We will be taking a very detailed look into the Premier League season as it rounds up. Premier League season will be rounding up this Sunday as usual. It's called the Premier League final day. It's called the final day of the English Premier League, and we are going to be taking a look at the title race in the English Premier League as well as the relegation battle. Of course, it's still a three-horse race to determine the team that will follow Norwich City and no other team, but the first team to be relegated this season. So that will follow Norwich City, the first team to be relegated this season. Watford already relegated. One more to go. Will it be Burnley? Will it be Leeds United, or will it be Everton? So these three teams, we will be taking a detailed look at their chances of survival, and also the title race is set to go down to the wire. Also, the race for the top 4 position is also guaranteed to go down to the wire. Upi, nice to have you here again. Upi was here.
Yeah, it feels good to be here. Great. And I wanted to say something. Whenever I'm beside you, I feel like a giant.
Yeah, you are already. So let's take a look at first of all. Let's start from the bottom.
Okay.
The struggle to remain in the English Premier League.
Yep.
It's now a three-horse race. One team has to go. Burnley, Leeds United, or Everton. Giving you the power now. Relegate one.
Got to be Burnley. You told them my power, right? Yeah. Our power has got to be Burnley. They've been in the Premier League for quite a while, but this season they've struggled. And that's what led to the sack of their famous or infamous manager now, depending on the side that you're on, Showdown. They asked the brother to go, and then Ben Mee took over, and then they are where they are today.
Michael Jackson is the new caretaker manager. I like his name, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, he has tried to stabilize the team. Before he came in, Ben Mee got some spectacular wins, and then he was like trying to stable the ship and all of that. But I think they are the ones themselves, and Leeds are the most likely. I'm picking Burnley because you gave me the power, but I think themselves and Leeds are the likeliest to go down to the Championship next season. I think Everton will survive.
Okay, there were a lot of talks about when Sean Dyche was actually asked. A lot of cynics was like, he's done a wonderful job, this shouldn't. But I looked at when Sean Dyche was sacked as coach. He only won 4 games prior to when he was fired.
No, that's what football is.
I mean, if you know, there's no room for sentiment.
Exactly.
You're no longer getting the results. Take your walk.
Yeah, you are always as good as your last game.
Game, yeah.
If you have to win to stay in the job. If you don't win, you're asked to go. If not, if you bring in emotion, borrowing that word from you now, always to those footballing decisions, you won't grow as a team. You won't grow as a club. So you put all of those things aside, and then that's where Roman Abramovich is just huge, because he will respect you, but business is business.
Okay, now Leeds United walks same path.
Yep.
Aligned Marcelo Bielsa, celebrated Marcelo Bielsa. I mean, his domineering style of play, regardless of what it is. Leeds United still in history, still remains to me the only team that I saw losing 6-2. But after the game, nobody criticized them. Rather, they were praised for maintaining their philosophy, even when they were 5-1 down and all of that. They played some wonderful football under Marcelo Bielsa last season. This season they have been found out. They are now struggling. I mean, Jesse Marsh hasn't done a bad job. He hasn't done a bad job, but again, it appears like his rescue mission is a little bit too late. And at the business end of the season, they appear to be struggling right now.
Yes. Football is all about winning, and then it doesn't matter how good you play most of the time. If you play well and then you don't get the results, it's as good as nothing. And that's what has led to the, I don't want to call it sack now for Marcelo Bielsa because of how big and how revered he was at the club. But that was why he was asked to go, and then Jesse Marsh was asked to come in, and then he himself, he's tried a bit of work. He started very well, and the team reacted to his employment. Like when he came, everybody tried to impress, but I think they are used to a particular style of play where all of them run, but they've missed some key players also. And they've missed the striker now.
Calvin Phillips and what's his name?
Patrick
Bamford.
Yeah.
Even Calvin Phillips was out for a very long time. I think the biggest problem of Leeds United is just depth.
Yes.
Depth is the biggest problem. The biggest problem of Burnley too is depth. And think about it, that Burnley played in Europe last season.
That's surprising.
And now they're
struggling.
And now they're struggling. They might just drop.
Reminds me of Wigan.
Wigan Athletic, yeah.
Back in the days where they won the FA Cup against Manchester City, qualified to Europe, and then they were playing from Championship or something like that. So let's just see how it goes. But we're up for an exciting final in the Premier League.
Okay, now let's shift our focus to the top 4 battle. Like I said, from bottom to the top.
Yeah.
The top 4 battle appears to be done and dusted for Liverpool. They are there. Manchester City are there already. Chelsea too are there by virtue of by virtue of Arsenal's defeat to Newcastle United. That cemented their spot as the worst they can finish is 4th, but they're sure going to finish along the top 4 in the Premier League. Arsenal no longer have their destiny in their hands. But I was listening to Timo Pukki's, a while ago,
Yeah.
and Pukki was saying that they want to finish 19th, that they don't want to finish bottom of the Premier League because they have an ambition. They don't want to be known as the bottom team of the Premier League in the 2 years they've come to the Premier League, so that they are going to go all out to fight against Tottenham. I listened to the manager speak, and he too said the same thing, that his desire is to kick on from here. The desire that their aim is to see how well they will end the season, because they haven't won in a long while. They want to give their fans something to cheer about. Arteta, on the other hand, Arsenal could approach their final game against Everton with Everton already survived. Because if Everton win their game today, it means the Arsenal game will be inconsequential to their quest of staying in the Premier League. But hey, not mincing word, the Premier League, it is what it is, the gift that keeps giving.
Yeah, of course.
Whether we like it or not, there's always something to play for, because the prize fee, many people don't look at it, the prize fee is going to be given based on how you finished on the table.
Exactly.
And then there are other players who actually have personal goals. There are players who in their contract is written that if you score 8 goals, you get a particular bonus. If you score 9 goals, you get a particular bonus. They have only one game to meet that target. There are players who come into the game and say, if you play a particular amount of game, you get this, you get that. You know, most of these contracts are performance related.
Yeah.
Now, this is the time for you. One more game to go. So there are no easy games. Tottenham thinking they are done and dusted. They will be doing a worse problem if they underrate Norwich City. They've been having the rub of the green as it concerns officiating. But hey, this is the final day of the season. For Arsenal, they lost it. 2 straight games where they needed just 1 win. Let's say it. From the game against Tottenham and from the game against Newcastle, they needed just 1 win.
Yeah.
But then at the business end of the season, that's when you know the boys from the men.
Exactly.
And the boys are cracking.
They capitulated completely. And there's something that I learned from the game between Newcastle and Arsenal, right? I used to think the guys who are fighting for survival are the most dangerous guys in the Premier League, but you notice something, that it is those guys who have nothing to lose, the Newcastles, where no matter what they play, they are not going to get relegated, and then they are not fighting for Europe or anything.
Position,
so they just play. So they play with a very relaxed mind. And if Everton, if Everton get to win their game tomorrow, right? They've survived. If they survive, they will go into that game against Arsenal with a clear mind. And then it's the same thing for Tottenham against Norwich. Norwich are relegated. Now, what they'll go, they know whatever happens, they are going to the championship. So they'll also go into the game with a clear mind.
They want to sign up on a high.
Exactly. It makes the game very delicate for Arsenal and Tottenham, and then makes it it will just bring the excitement. It will bring the excitement of the final day of the Premier League. And then I'm expecting something, even if not a Sergio Aguero 2012 kind of day, something close, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now on the EPL match, a final match day, we'll also take a look at the title race.
Yeah.
1 point is the separation. I mean, between Manchester City and Liverpool, a point is just the difference. A point is the difference going into the final game. Manchester City will play Aston Villa. Liverpool will play Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, it's clear. Whatever happened this season, Manchester City knew that they had a challenge on their hands. As of January, they were 14 points clear. Yeah. 14 points clear of Liverpool. Now, with 1 day to go, they are 1 point clear of Liverpool. Liverpool have been magnificent. Liverpool just hanged in there, refused to go out, stayed in the loop, and now they are pushing City all the way. But hey, let's be clear on this. It is still Manchester City's title to lose. Absolutely. Because it's still all in their hands.
Absolutely, it's still all in their hands, and they know they have to win to get the title this time around. It was, I think they were laid back at some points. That was why Liverpool were able to close that gap from 14 points to where they are today. And then going into the final game of the season, both teams know they have to win. And I'll expect, my prediction, I think Man City will win the league.
Is the Premier League slowly becoming a 2-horse race? Because listen to this. The year Liverpool challenged, it went down to the wire. Last season when Liverpool didn't challenge, Manchester City won the title without breaking a sweat. So, can we just say, it's safe to say now that the only time we have a genuine title race on card, it's when Liverpool and Manchester City are getting involved. It's like the Premier League, the past 5 to 6 years has now slowly become a 2-horse race.
It is like that.
Because if someone would say Manchester United finished second, but hey, they finished second with over 20 points behind the winners.
It was not...
That gap has never been that pronounced between Man City and Liverpool.
Manchester United didn't finish last second because of how good they were. They finished second because of how poor Liverpool were.
I want to agree with that.
The injury problems Liverpool had, not because of how good Manchester United were at that point. But also, there's something that I noticed between the two teams, Manchester City and Liverpool. They've made themselves better. they've pushed themselves to limits, and then they've brought out the best in themselves, and that's why they are heads and shoulders, undoubtedly heads and shoulders above every other team. That's why the other managers in the league, they are shameless about admitting that those are the guys
two have set the standard.
When Tuchel is speaking, you hear him say, "We want to catch Liverpool and Manchester City. Our players are not up to that standard. We have to get our players to that standard." When Ralf Rangnick is talking, he also he echoes the same thing. When Arteta is speaking, he echoes the same thing. So it just goes to show they are on a different level. They are on a different pedestal, and then all the other guys are just playing catch up. It's a two-horse race.
But we always call it a two-horse race. But put in mind that Liverpool have won only just one of these numerous titles that we're talking about. They've only been challenging, but challenge is not just good enough. It almost doesn't count.
Yeah, it
almost doesn't count. It doesn't. At the end of it all, if City ends up winning, it will be 4 titles in 5 years. So what exactly are you challenging?
It nearly does not kill a bird.
It doesn't count at all.
It never kills a bird, and it goes to show that it goes to show how supreme Manchester City are, and the kind of almost invisibility Pep Guardiola has brought into that team. They've been tremendous.
Remember when they needed to get 100 points to beat Liverpool? Boy, they got 100 points.
They got 100 points flat out. Flat out. It didn't even seem difficult to me. I don't know. So many people didn't look at that part, but I didn't see them struggle to get that 100 points so much as they are even struggling to keep this particular one. They were focused, and then they got it. It was all about breaking records for them, and then they kept on shattering every record on their way that season. But hey, this season, I'm expecting drama with some movies on the final day, really.
Finally of the EPL. Drama is what you're expecting.
Exactly.
Drama, commotion, excitement. Tears, anguish, and the adrenaline rush. That is it. I think all will be on supply on the English Premier League final day.